Hi everyone, I'm back with another edition of the American Chess Magazine puzzle calendar. Let's get into the puzzle. This was the puzzle for Thursday, June 8th. It was composed by Mikhail Pavlov in the year 2000. Again, all the puzzles in this series are white to move, mate in 2. If you want to try to solve this puzzle for yourself, then go ahead and pause the video here. For me, this puzzle had a difficulty rating of 6 out of 10 and a satisfaction rating of 5 out of 5. So here, Black's king is very trapped and they only have a few legal moves: e takes f4, f2, and d2. However, it's actually kind of hard to see how white's going to checkmate. I start by looking at e takes f4. Obviously, the easiest way for white to give checkmate after e takes f4 would be queen takes f4 mate. So I'm like, okay, how about queen f7? However, here, even though, yes, technically this is checkmate, unfortunately, black can just play the move d2. Notice it's not f2 because white has rook h3 mate. But if d2, bishop d2, the king runs, and white has no way of giving checkmate. So then I thought, okay, well, how else am I going to give checkmate after e takes f4? And I couldn't really find an answer to that, so I'm like, what if I just get rid of the option in the first place? However, here black has f2. If rook h3, the king simply runs. So there's nothing here. Same with f5, f2, and the king will run. So I was really stumped for a bit, but then I realized that, okay, instead of preventing e takes f4, let's first look at how to prevent f2 and d2. Now, the curious thing is that after f2, rook h3 is the best bet to give checkmate, and or something along the third rank checkmate, and d2, same thing, something along the third rank. And queen takes e6 fits both of these. If f2, then queen h3 is mate, and if d2, then queen b3 is mate. Once I actually started looking at this seriously, then I realized that if e takes f4, rook takes d3 is checkmate because the e-pawn is pinned. This was definitely not an easy mating pattern to see from the beginning, but I eventually got it. This was the puzzle for Friday, June 9th. It was composed by William Chisholm in the year 1981. Again, if you want to solve this puzzle for yourself, then go ahead and pause the video here. For me, this puzzle had a difficulty rating of 4 out of 10 and a satisfaction rating of 5 out of 5. So here, white looks like they have a lot of checks they might be able to try. Knight discoveries, however, fail the king to e4. If the knight tries to move to one of these two squares, then the rook can simply take it. So this brought up the obvious, I thought, of why not rook takes f5. Now white is threatening knight e7. If bishop takes, then knight f6 is mate, and if rook takes, then knight e7 is mate. However, here black can play the only move b takes c3. The c-pawn was guarding d4, so now after knight f6 or knight e7, the king simply runs and is not mate in 2. So unfortunately, trying to make this knight check work doesn't really work out. However, then I thought, okay, well, all of white's pieces are kind of guarding some sort of escape square, right? The rook's guarding these, the bishop's guarding these two. So most of white's pieces are already occupied trying to stop black's king away from running. And one piece that's really not helping, but yet is really powerful, is the queen. So if the queen somehow is able to snake its way in, then white might be able to give checkmate. Queen b1 is definitely one move, trying queen to d3 mate. However, black can play knight f4 defending. If white tries to play queen takes a4 with idea of queen a2 or queen to b3, then here black has the funny move b1 queen guarding both of these two squares. Therefore, the correct answer is to play queen f1. Now white's threatening maybe queen d3 and also queen to c4, which is closer to the king and therefore more reliable. If knight to e3, then queen d3 is mate because the bishop can no longer block. If knight to d6, then rook takes d6 is checkmate. And b takes c3 doesn't really influence anything. White will play queen c4 anyway. If black tries to play rook to f4, then knight to e7 because now the rook is being pinned. Finally, if black plays rook to e4, then white has knight to f6 checkmate because, again, this other rook is pinned. The puzzle for today, June 10th through 11th, it was composed by Mukher Parasarathi in the year 1961. So I gave this puzzle a difficulty rating of 5 out of 10 and a satisfaction rating of 5 out of 5. However, this puzzle was a little bit easier for me because I was given a hint beforehand. I was told that in the original calendar there was a misprint. There was a knight here originally, but it's actually supposed to be a bishop. So thank you, Alex, for the heads up. With this hint, though, I was like, oh, so it's probably something to do with this pin, right? Otherwise, the problem probably wouldn't really work. I got this puzzle a little bit easier than it was supposed to be, but it's still a really, really pretty puzzle. So here, I originally thought on rook f6, but the king can always run to e5. Even if white tries some fancy rook takes g6 with knight h5, the king can always run away. And that was the moment where I realized how I could use this pin. Queen takes c5. Now white might be threatening rook f6 in some cases because remember this rook is pinned, so it can't take. Also, white's threatening queen to e5, a very funny and pretty mate. So if black tries to defend with bishop moving this way, with the idea of just taking with the e1 rook, here white can play the move rook to f6 checkmate. The bishop can no longer block on f5. If black, after queen takes c5, tries to play bishop f5, then queen takes f2 is mate. And if bishop takes g2, then white still has rook f6 checkmate. So those are the puzzles for this half week. I feel like there was a theme of finding the piece that really wasn't controlling any escape squares and then using that piece to try to give mate. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe. And that's all for today. Bye!